Hello, everybody, and welcome. Yeah, the sun is shining this morning. Going to be a hot one. A fantastic Friday. We welcome you to our program. Jill Booker is here this morning representing Wilson Bank and Trust. Jill, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It is nice to see you again. I don't see you as much as I did because a few years ago you quit managing the branch of Wilson Bank that I frequent, but it is good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
And let me tell everybody, of course, that you are Vice President, Retail and Operations Manager. So that's a big mouthful. You must be doing a lot.
Well, I get to work with our central and our east offices, so that's a total of 12 of them. So I get to travel a little bit. There's lots of, Smithville, Cookville, so definitely on the road a little bit more than I have been in the past.
Well, when you were over at the Tennessee Boulevard.
The Castle Heights office.
Castle Heights, I'm sorry. That's the other end. Okay. At the Castle Heights office. And I miss you because that's the one I frequent mostly. And but that's one of the things about Wilson Bank. You do have an opportunity to grow, to move up, to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, I've been with the bank for 26 years, and I started on the teller row. So the bank really does pour into their employees. You've just got to be a go-getter and take initiative and just be a little patient, too, at times. But it's a great company.
What would you describe in 30 seconds or so what you're actually doing now?
So I am adding support to, like I said, our central and our east offices, and that's to the managers as well. It's with their deposits, the customer experience, the training, the personnel, and just another layer of support.
Mm-hmm. But enjoying, no doubt, every minute, or nearly every minute.
I do. I do miss my regular customers because I don't get to see them as frequently because the employees are my actual customers now, so adding their support. But I do get to wait on customers every once in a while, so that brings a lot of joy.
And as far as where your desk is located?
I am at the main office, and just like I was telling you, we just had a remodel, so you need to stop by and come see it. It looks great. We're very proud of it, and so we have a great team there, too.
You have a flyer there.
Oh, I do.
You want to talk about there?
I wanted to bring up this weekend, there's a celebration at the Market Street with Juneteenth Community Festival. It's going to be Saturday, June the 15th from 10 to 5. Of course, there's live entertainment, games, vendors, a kid zone, food truck. So definitely, I know lots of people have fun plans this weekend, but this will be a great event. The bank will be closed next Wednesday for observing Juneteenth. I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Of course, you still have availability to use our telephone banker, online banking, mobile deposit. So you still have access to us.
Online banking has really come a long way. A lot of people do that rather than even go into the office anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot of our consumers, they want it all. They want to be able to pick up the phone and call a banker. They want to come in, but then they want to have that access through their phone, whether that is sending a payment, making a deposit, looking at transactions, pulling statements, sending it to their CPA. So there's, lots of access now.
Well, you don't even have to wait to get a notice that you're overdrawn anymore if you have access through the internet.
That's true. And you can set alerts too. Yeah.
Hopefully that's infrequent and very seldom. But anyway, I do enjoy being able to have access through the internet, right? Right where you are every day.
Absolutely.
And well, there's a lot we could talk about. In fact, we were talking about the success of the bank before we went on the air this morning. And what are there? 30 locations now?
Yes,
including one in Chattanooga.
That's right.
And one in Cookville. I guess they're the farthest two from Lebanon.
They are. Now, our Chattanooga is just a lender office. It does not have deposits just yet. So
yeah. But we'll wait and see where the 31st will be.
Absolutely.
I would bet there'll be a 31st.
I would think so. Absolutely.
Well, we got another minute here.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk. I mean, obviously, summer's here, so the kiddos are out of school, but it is a great time to bring them by to open up accounts, children's savings accounts, campus accounts. We've got a lot of kids that are going off to college, so we want to set them up for success. You can do that by coming in. You can do it also by applying online. I was teasing my kids that, we have our financial literacy, so we can do a little bit of homework this summer by visiting our website and, talking about habits and needs and the importance of saving. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Also, we do have, rates are still good, especially if you have funds in the bank. So taking, advantage of those CD specials and coming in and visiting your favorite banker or calling, because a lot of times we can do it over the phone and we can e-sign those documents out too.
All right. Jill, thanks so much for being with us today. Jill Booker, Vice President, Retail and Operations Manager for Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987.
Thank you.
All right. 10 minutes after the hour. Well, I want to welcome one of my favorite judges, and I have two or three. But Judge Inslee Hagen is my guest this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate your being here.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you. I've known you, I guess, since you were a little boy. And you've got a little boy now who isn't so little, I don't think.
Well, he just turned 9. Yeah, turned 9 last month.
How's summer going for you?
It's going great. We just got back. We had been vacationing down in Florida quite a bit, and we decided to go up to western North Carolina last week and stayed in Waynesville and just had a fantastic time. It's beautiful.
Where is that?
It's close to Maggie Valley,
Oh,
Cherokee,
yeah.
That very area. It's the Waynesville bills itself as the gateway to the Smoky Mountains on the North Carolina side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a beautiful part of the country, and the weather, it was 77, 78 degrees and no humidity up there in the mountains, and just had a really nice time. We did several waterfall hikes, did a hike on the Bald. We even mined for emeralds. There's an emerald mine. It's actually in Hiddenite, North Carolina. But we did not get any emeralds, unfortunately. I was told my son he needed to find my retirement while he was digging, but we did not have any success with that, but we had a good time.
Well, I guess it's really good to get away like that.
It is.
And from your daily routine, because every day is not just alike, for sure. But you are in court.
Correct.
And there are certain procedures and so on that you do day after day after day. I mean, it kind of like every day is different here on the radio, but it's sitting here for 56 minutes and talking to people, and you are making rulings and keeping order in the court and this sort of thing. So to get away is good.
It's very good. About 90%, 92% of what I do is divorce and child custody. And when people are having disputes over their divorce or their custody arrangement, it's not a good day. That they're arguing. They're not in agreement with what's going on, and so you're dealing with problems. The other, basically 10 to 8% of what I do is probate, and so you're dealing with people who have passed away or people who have lost their capacity, and so we have conservatorships, and so they're very important but also very difficult issues. And so yes, it's very nice to get away and just enjoy your family, enjoy your kids and your wife, and breathe some fresh air up in the mountains.
Well, I'm just sitting here, and we go to a break here in a couple of minutes, so we got time to talk about this a little bit. But you seem to be a pretty even-tempered person who has pretty good self-control, I think. But there's got to be a few things that irritate even an even-tempered judge sometimes. How do you maintain your cool, or do you always? Do you get frustrated and let it show sometimes?
Coleman, I am a human being. Yes, I do get frustrated. I'll give you an example of a case I had yesterday. We have seen, and particularly since the pandemic, increased rates of substance abuse, whether it be alcohol, drugs, what have you. And so if there's an allegation that somebody is using drugs, I will refer them or send them for a drug test. And before I send them, I put them under oath, and I ask them, what they're going to be positive for. And I tell them it is far worse for you to lie to me than it is for you to test positive for the worst drugs, meth or cocaine or whatever. I had a lady yesterday in court who I did that very thing, put her under oath, asked her what she'd be positive for, and she told me she'd be positive for marijuana. Came back, she was positive for cocaine and meth in addition to marijuana. And so I did kind of lose my cool with her. I was not very happy because when you lie to the court, number one, you're committing aggravated perjury. But number two, you lose credibility with the court. And once you lose credibility with the court, it's not impossible, but it's awfully doggone difficult to regain that credibility. And I understand people are afraid, they're nervous and what have you, but I go through a very specific process and say, listen, just tell me the truth. And I'm not looking to lock them up. I'm not looking to put them in jail or have them prosecuted for using these substances. What I'm trying to do is figure out the best way they can get well so that they can be a good parent. That's what I'm interested in. And I explained that to them. But I did raise my voice. I didn't lose my cool, so to speak, but I did raise my voice with her yesterday because I was very frustrated because I was so specific in saying, just tell me the truth. And she didn't tell me the truth.
Yeah. Just the facts, man.
Exactly.
You remember Joe Friday and
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
If not just by reruns.
it is just by reruns, but I do remember. Yes.
Right. Judge Inslee Hagen, my guest, a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Get a battery installed in most vehicles, $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Out in West Nashville, Bellevue, they're wrapping up an accident that had some injuries. 500 block of OHB as traffic starts to build even more now through the Mount Juliet area on I-40 going westbound, headed towards Hermitage. It's loading up pretty good with a little bit more volume on 24 West up by 840 in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County right now, headed towards Antioch. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on that brand new menu. You can check them out this weekend online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane and Crowell. At the offices of Kane and Crowell, our team of experienced attorneys is here to guide you through every step of the process. With a proven track record of success and a commitment to our clients and our community, look no further than the team at Kane and Crowell to fight for your rights and provide representation you deserve. 615-784-4800.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on this Friday. The sun is shining, going to be a warning. Judge Inslee Hagen is with us. I mentioned in a text to you when we were talking about you being here today about a couple of trials that have come up recently. One was in New York City, one in Washington, D.C., I think, or in Delaware.
Delaware.
That's close to Washington, D.C.
Right.
And there's been a lot of depending on which side of the aisle you're on, I guess, as to how you feel about that. But in both situations, I think a lot of people thought that there might be a hung jury with former President Trump, and of course he's found guilty on 34
felony counts.
And then Hunter Biden, people thought because it was Delaware, and the Bidens kind of owned Delaware, they said, and
right.
Mrs. Biden was there on the front row making eye contact with the jurors and all this, that would either be a hung jury or not guilty. But we were wrong in both situations. What do you think of what happened? And as far as you're willing to comment, and I know sometimes you don't want to be too critical, there's some of us who have some strong opinions about what all is going on and what has happened there.
Let me start by saying I'm very disillusioned with national politics. The divisiveness that has come about over the last decade is really. I was a political science major in college. I loved politics. I loved being just in the middle of that. And now I don't even enjoy watching the news because there's there's just not honesty in reporting anymore, in my opinion. I don't think you get the truth. I think you get a jaded view, an opinion, as opposed to just the actual news, what happened. I've got to be a little bit careful for my position, but I don't deal with national issues as a divorce judge. I think the Trump trial is an absolute farce. I think that there was absolutely no justification in that, and I'm shocked that the jury came back with a guilty verdict. I don't think that Hunter Biden, I don't think the law that Hunter Biden was charged with should be prosecuted. I don't think it should exist. We have a Second Amendment that says that you have a right to possess a firearm, and I don't think he should have been prosecuted. And I know that's probably a view that a lot of people don't. They're going to take one position for Trump or one position for the Bidens. I think the whole thing, this is using politics, using the law to try and influence politics, and I think that is wrong. I think it's just absolutely wrong. It's contrary to what our founders intended, and it's unfortunate, and I'm afraid that we're headed on a path that's going to end up ruining the country.
And it seems that the underlying reason for all of this has to do with the election of a president.
Exactly. And that's not the way our legal system was intended and has been to effect justice. And it's not justice. What was done in New York, number one, the alleged crimes were misdemeanors, and the statute of limitations had long expired. Mm-hmm. But the prosecution somehow was able to convince the judge that we're going to use the basis of an underlying alleged federal crime, which was never prosecuted, and we're going to use that to make this a felony. And there was never any federal crime that was charged, indicted, prosecuted, or convicted. The prosecution was not required to disclose to the defense the actual crime. The jury was charged with the charge that just blows my mind. I don't do jury trials very often, but they were told they did not have to agree on the underlying crime. Well, right. One of the tenements of jury trials is that the jury has to unanimously find every single element of the crime charged. They were told they didn't have to do that. I don't, of course, this is New York, not Tennessee. Tennessee, it doesn't work that way. I don't understand how that took place. To me, it's purely political, and it's very unfortunate to use the legal system to try to influence or cause some type of political effect.
Yeah, do you think there's a chance that this might be thrown out, appealed, and appeal upheld, and the results is the opposite?
If the appellate courts in New York are honest and follow the law, yes, there's a chance.
Yeah,
and that's a big if.
What about Mr. Biden, Hunter Biden? Will he spend any time in jail for this?
I don't think so. He's a first-time offender. Typically, first-time offenders don't go to prison. I think he's probably looking at a fine, potentially some house arrest, something like that. But no, I doubt that he spends any time in prison.
Well, back on the local scene,
yeah.
I guess. You're the General Sessions Judge,
Division 3,
and mostly the divorce.
Correct.
Is what is in your court. Are you just as busy now as you were when you started? We do have more people here. Right. I mean, we know that. So with more people, there are probably going to be more people in divorce court. Are you seeing that?
The numbers have increased. I should have had my clerk print my numbers off, but last year I think we probably had about 350 new divorces, give or take, and that's just in my court. We have 3 other courts that handle divorce: Judge Byrd, Judge Collins, and Chancellor Smith. I don't know their numbers, but the numbers have. I've been on the bench 5.5 years. January 1, 2019 is when I took office. And the numbers have increased. And honestly, I do think, and I hate to keep going back to the pandemic, but I do think that absolutely has had an effect on our divorce numbers and our post-divorce cases as well.
Well, you're just in Wilson County.
Correct.
I have to have this in the back of my mind. Sometimes I have people here who represent this judicial district. Is it
15th?
15th, yeah, which is 5 counties.
Correct.
And but you just have to worry about Wilson County.
I just have one courthouse and one office, and I'm very grateful for that.
That brings me to something else we can talk about for a minute here. And this is a little bit different, but of course there's this proposed courthouse, judicial center, I don't know what we're going to call it, but where the Highland High Church of Christ their building has been all these years. The county bought that. There's been some plans, architectural plans drawn up, and it was actually even voted on county commission, but they voted against this particular one. Just talk about this, your opinion on what's happened, what's going to happen, what you'd like to see, if you will.
Right now, we have technically 3 courthouses, 2 of which actually have active court, the other being the East Main Street location where Mayor Hutto's office is and Jim Goodall's office and so forth. It's confusing for the folks who come to court. It's not uncommon for us to have somebody go up to the courthouse on the bypass or Badura Parkway, and they're supposed to be at my court or my courthouse on College Street. I do believe there is a need for the new courthouse. Now, it's very expensive. Building anything today, I met with the mayor and Judge Tatum and Judge Lee yesterday. I believe the bid has this at about $440 a square foot. And if you just think about construction, that's terribly expensive. I understand the reservation for the county commissioners and not wanting to spend the money. My understanding from the mayor is that the plans can be constructed without a tax increase, and it's not going to cost the county citizens, the taxpayers, any more money than what they're already paying based on what the budget is right now, because they've paid off some bonds and they've paid off some things, and so they can build this without a taxpayer increase. Is the need right now immediate? No. Could we get by for a few years with what we have? Yes. The problem is the cost of construction is not going to go down, and our population is going to continue to grow. So will there be an immediate need within a few years? Yes, absolutely. The mayor, the architects on this, the judges, this has been a very involved process. We went, in fact, there was a group of probably 25 or 30 of us that went over to Rutherford County right before COVID happened. This was in February of 2020. And we toured the Rutherford County facility. They built a very nice brand new courthouse there in Murfreesboro. And so this has been a very involved and long process. I think I met with the architects 5 times, maybe 6, and individually and also in other group meetings. Is it perfect? No, there's no such thing. Will it serve the people, the residents, the taxpayers of Wilson County long term, 25, 30 years? Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. Right now, I'm in a different location. Judge Byrd and Chancellor Smith and Judge Collins sometimes are over on College Street. Judge Tatum, Judge Kane, Judge Lee are up on the bypass. And if we were all in the same building, I think it would, number one, be less confusing for the taxpayers. But number two, we could work together better than having different locations. So I think it's a good thing, but it's still, I think the thing is budgeted at 80, 81, 82, $3 million. I mean, we're talking about a tremendous amount of money. And I understand the county, there are other needs in the county. I know the sheriff is always having the patrol officers, the equipment, and I know the other departments also need other things.
Yeah.
So, I understand the reservation. I understand that they voted it down, but I think the plans are good, and I think that it will benefit the residents of Wilson County.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us this morning. We've covered a lot of territory, and you have an opinion on everything, don't you?
Just ask me, right?
Well, no kidding. I appreciate it so much.
Yes, sir.
Judge Inslee Hagan, and I guess I'll be hollering at you to be a guest host later on in the fall. I always appreciate that as well.
I enjoy it.
That is part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up on the second wreck we've had over here on 24 eastbound, coming off that Sullivan Evans Bridge onto I-40 going westbound. Again, trying to wrap that up right now. That did slow it down across the Sullivan Evans Bridge there just a few minutes ago. That made things slow 24 east there around Shelby. It's cranking up with a little bit more volume. It's been in pretty good shape so far out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County on I-24 going westbound as you head up past Bell Road. Princess Hot Chicken has new items on a new menu. You gotta check them out. There's some neat items on there at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
For more than 36 years, Wilson Bank and Trust has been proud to serve communities all across Tennessee. As an independent local bank, we provide banking products competitive with large banks, but delivered with personalized local service. Wilson Bank and Trust has been community-focused since 1987 and looks forward to many more. Discover the power of local community banking that truly makes a difference. Give us a call or come on by any of our local 30 locations or visit wilsonbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
It's summertime, summertime, summertime.
The sun is shining, flowers are blooming, and it's time to get your backyard ready for all that summertime fun.
Well, if you want a bigger backyard, or maybe you don't want to mow anymore, let us help you find the home that fits your needs.
Houses are flying off the market so quickly, you really need to get a real estate agent to help you to find that dream home.
That's why you don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmenthaler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
Partly cloudy and hot conditions will continue for today with afternoon highs in the lower 90s. Clear tonight, lows in the upper 60s, and then mostly sunny again for Saturday and Sunday. Afternoon highs in the lower to middle 90s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
We welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. It's a Friday. Fridays at this time, we feature the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, and somebody is always here. I don't know whether y'all ever missed or not, but we've got
So
Miss
far,
Judy.
so good.
We've got Miss Judy and Miss Medina here with us this morning. Well, as long as Granny was around, there wasn't any way you were going to miss it, was
She made sure that if it wasn't me coming, she was on the phone with her, making sure she was on her way. I've always thought, okay, if I ever got a ticket, got pulled over, I was going to say, come on, just follow me to the radio station, then you can give me a ticket. Just get me there. I've always thought, please don't let me get a ticket. That was going to be my reason. Just follow me. I'll pay the ticket, but just get me there first.
Well, these people and the C&D team are located at the whole Exit Rocky Top Realty is located at 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Great people, great service, people you can trust, and we're just glad to have you all with us each Friday. Learned a lot from you. You could have been a school teacher, you know? Anybody ever told you that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got for us this morning?
Well, I was thinking about some insurance on the way over here, and I know you know a lot about insurance, but when people...
I forgot some of it.
Well, you know, over the years, as people have done things before closing or getting ready to list their house, when they've done things that's going to cause an issue, we've tried to make a list and then have a checkoff. We have a checkoff list that when we get with you, we say, here's the steps we're going to go through. That way, we think we pretty much covered everything that's could happen. But over the years, how we got that checkoff list was from things that people did. But we've had people to... They'll come to us, they'll say, we want you to list our house, and we've already moved to another house, and our house is empty. And then we get to talking to them, and then we're like, now, who's your insurance with? Oh, well, I canceled that insurance when I moved. And I'm like, so your house is sitting there vacant, not covered? Oh, that's right, because we don't live there anymore. And I'm thinking, okay. So we try to make sure when they're going to list their house, you do not cancel your insurance until you have your money in your hand from your sale of your house. Because they'll come to closing. We had one come to closing one time, and they said, well, we canceled our insurance yesterday because we're closing today. And I'm like, what if something had happened to the house overnight? Or what if something happens while we're sitting here waiting to sign? You're not covered. And, of course, if the buyer is getting a loan from the bank's going to make sure they're covered on their insurance. But a lot of people now come in and pay cash, so nobody is telling them, hey, you better get some insurance on that house, because bankers will always make sure you got coverage before the closing.
That coverage would only start when they actually have the house.
That's right.
And it wouldn't be covered 24 hours before.
That's right. And you know, the thing of it is, sometimes the sellers might come in and sign that morning, and the buyers don't sign till that afternoon. Well, sellers go, oh, I'm going to cancel my insurance, turning off my electricity. You can't do that, because that afternoon, between that morning and that afternoon, if something happened to that house, who owns it? You still own that house until everything is funded. You can sign all day long, but you still own it until both parties have signed and it's funded. So we tell people, don't cancel anything till we tell you to. And when you've got your money in your hand and you know it's a done deal, everybody signed, then you can call your insurance agents and cancel. And a lot of people, too, think if they don't have any furniture in the house, they don't need any coverage. Well, you know, an empty house costs more to cover than a full house, believe it or not, because they look at the dangers of a house being empty. It's more likely for somebody to vandalize it.
Wow.
So, you know, people think, oh, well, I'll just, you know, I've moved out. I don't need that coverage anymore. So they come up with ideas that they don't think it all the way through. And our job is to make sure you don't do things like that just in case something happens.
Right.
So anyway, I'll let Medina talk now.
Medina, it's your turn.
That was Judy's lesson today.
Well, a good one.
Yes, it always is. You know, I sit here and listen to her, and I know it, but I'm learning as I'm listening to her. But I already know what she's going to say, so you know, I'm always learning. But anyway, we have some listings coming up here. We're going today to take pictures and get it ready for the market. But it's in Summit Harbor Point, down Cairo Bend Road. It's 4 minutes from Old Hickory Lake, the boat ramp for that. So if you're interested in having a boat and not being far from the lake, this might be the place for you. But it is 417 Zephyr Cove, and that's Zephyr Cove here in Lebanon. But it is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It's a little bit over 2,500 square feet. It has a large bonus room and oversized 2-car garage, which makes the bonus room oversized as well. And the primary suite is on the main level. Granite countertops, brand new hardwood floors. It's been well taken care of. It has a fenced backyard. It's on almost at the end of the street. So if you're looking to be close to the boat ramp, not less than 5 minutes there, all brick home close to the end of a cul-de-sac, give us a call for that one. That one's going to be listed at $599.9, and that's at the Summit at Harbor Point.
Okay.
So that one's coming up. We have another one coming up probably in 2 weeks. It's going to be in the Johnson Heights subdivision. So we'll have more about that one then. And then we have 103 West Meade, right off of West Main. It's diagonally, well, it's across the street from Hardee's, diagonally across from the street from Big Lots and Planet Fitness. But it is a new price of $397,500, and it is 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and right around 2,000 square feet, 1 level home. It's a great starter home. It's a great home for downsizing. It's a backyard fenced 2-car garage with a potting shed in the back. So you could use it for gardening. I think some other people have looked at it and use it for art, a place to store art or do art stuff in there. So it has a carport or a covered back porch. So give us a call on that one. It's under $200 a square foot. So and we also have a house in 101 Five Oaks Circle. So give us a call on that one. That's a beautiful home, a custom one home owner, and looking for a new owner there. So give us a call there. So we've had a big month in June, a lot of turnover for the listings. So they don't last long. They haven't been lasting long in the market at all. So give us a call, and we'd be glad to list yours or show you one to get yours get it under contract for you.
615-443-3130 is that number. And Miss Juden, she kind of had a little recognition for her excellence in sales recently.
Yeah, she sold over $2.5 million last month for Jean, and that's when I was recuperating. So that was without me. She did.
I was just having fun and didn't realize how much fun.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That's at least staying busy.
That's right, exactly. And that tells you that a lot of people remembered, don't make a move without us.
All right, and I just know y'all want to say Happy Father's Day, too.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and give them a special hug Sunday.
That's right.
See y'all next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is Judy Cox, Medina Hementola, C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Well, this morning here on part 2 of Coleman and Company, I have, I guess we could say, an old friend who is with us in John Grant, who has been here many times for representing Compassionate Hands. John, good morning to you.
Well, good morning. It's so nice to be here, Coleman.
And we have a new executive director. I got a announcement about this, the news release some time ago when this was made known back in March, and was wondering when we would do this. Well, today is the day. It's taken us, 3 months, I guess.
Yes.
But you're here, and she is here, and I'm going to let you do the introduction if you want to.
All right. Well, first, Coleman, let me just say thank you so much for what you do here with this radio show. You do so much good just to bring out the good in our community. You can say a lot on the radio, and you consistently use this to lift people up and to encourage people, and I'm really grateful for how you serve.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I do have to get up early every morning.
Yes, you do.
But it's worth it.
Yep. So I am really happy to introduce to the community Mariah Anderson, who is our new executive director. Mariah has been with Compassionate Hands for 2 years on staff, and over the last year, I had reached a point where I realized I could not do everything I was trying to do. For 5 years, I served as the minister and executive director, and the job had just become too big. And so we began looking around. The board actually did a search, put out the call for resumes, had several people apply, and then none of them quite seemed like a fit. And then we got to looking, and there was Mariah sitting on our team. She was our director of operations and ran our shelter program last winter and did a sensational job. And so along about January, the board and Mariah started some conversations for her to consider serving as our new executive director. And I guess she officially started February 15th and has just hit the ground running and has done a fabulous job. So, I'm really excited to introduce Mariah to you and to the community.
Well, Mariah, welcome to our program. And it's not that you're totally new. You're just you've moved up the ladder, I guess we could say.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the wonderful introduction, John. I've been with Compassionate Hands for 2 years, like John was saying, and kind of started from the bottom. I was spending many days in the laundry room before this, so definitely thankful for the opportunity.
What attracted you, or what prompted you to be a part of Compassionate Hands in the beginning?
That is an interesting story. So I used to be in a ministry role in Anchorage, Alaska, and we had the opportunity to take a sabbatical. And in that time, the Lord really laid upon our heart to leave everything behind and to follow him into uncertainty. And he led us out here, out of all the places, Lebanon, Tennessee. He plucked us out of Anchorage and put us here. And as we were praying and seeking the Lord for what was next in this season, I wanted my life and the heartbeats that I trade every day at the job that I do to matter and to count. And so I started working at Compassionate Hands thinking, well, this is a good place to fill some time until the Lord really unfolds what's next for us.
Where are you from originally?
Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You born in Alaska?
No, sir. No. I was born in Montana, but I lived in Alaska since I was. Yes, sir, it is. No, I lived in Alaska since I was about eight years old. So it's home.
Well, how long have you been in Tennessee?
2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
And it does get hot here in the summertime,
yes.
right?
Yeah, we're enjoying the sunshine. We love that. It's been a pleasant change. We enjoy that.
All right, we've got a lot to talk about, but it's about time for us to take a break, which we're going to do right here, and we'll continue with John Grant and Mariah Anderson with Compassionate Hands in a moment here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed in most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up a couple of ranks out here. One's 24 westbound, just past 440. The other one is 24 east, coming off that Sullivan Evans Bridge. Like you're headed towards 2nd and 4th Avenue. It's starting to get a little bit more crowded on 65 south at Trinity Lane. We've been in pretty decent shape. I-40 coming in from Wilson County in and through Hermitage 24. Lots of radar earlier. 24 out there around 840. Hey, Nash Painting is a non-franchise painting company right here in Middle Tennessee. Mention this ad, get a 10% discount. Call Nash Painting at 912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us here on this Friday morning. John Grant and Mariah Anderson are with us with Compassionate Hands. John Grant's minister, Mariah Anderson, executive director, and new executive director as of, February, March?
Yes, sir, February.
And we found out a little bit about her, but let's talk about what's going on right now. I know that you do have some 50 churches that are working together, and John, I've got to think that a lot of this would have to do with your involvement and with people seeing what you have been able to do and sort of put together, and the fact that people can come and spend a warm night when the cold winter is here, and these 50 churches and others who might feel some responsibility that, well, let John do it. It's not, that's a simplification, but it's sort of how it works, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. When people see somebody out on the streets of our community, they will often call and say, what do I do? How did they get into your shelter? And so, yeah, but many people, when you see somebody, they're holding a sign, and you see somebody clearly in great need, and it's a cold night, it's a rainy night, your heart is touched. And so we started with 8 churches in 2013, and it has just grown every year. More and more churches, as they see what we're doing, they want to be involved. And what we've done, I think, is we've made it safe for churches to come and serve. Mm-hmm. We've made it safe for guests to stay with us, and guests really appreciate the sweet atmosphere that we're serving in the name of Jesus, and so we offer great hospitality. We take Matthew 25 very seriously, where Jesus says, when you served, came to the prisons, and you fed the poor, you were feeding me. And so we take that very literally. So we try to treat our guests as though it was Jesus in our home.
Well, the churches can be involved in a number of ways, no doubt. Monetarily is probably where a lot of them start, but then there's the manpower, the help the serving physically.
You know, the way most people start with our organization is they come and help serve a meal. That's a really easy way just to come and check it out and see that it's safe and fun. And so we're right now we're serving meals on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays through the summers. We're doing lunch. And so today we'll have probably half a dozen volunteers there, and we'll have about 25 guests there to eat, and the staff will be there. So most people, the first step is they come, serve a meal, tour the building, and then many of them say, hey, this is really interesting. I want to know more. And then what we love to see is when they become, regular volunteers and they become overnight volunteers through the winter. That's the big challenge, is to spend the night with strangers in a church building or in a shelter. But and then many of them become donors. But it typically starts with serving a meal. And if anyone's interested in getting involved with us, they could just come and help with one of our meals this summer.
Well, let's talk with Mariah a little bit here. You told us somewhat about coming to Compassionate Hands, but what has this changed your life necessarily? What you've seen here and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. Coming from the church background, you see these people come in and out of your office and they are requesting assistance of some kind, but we don't have the opportunity to truly get to know them over a long period of time. So actually developing relationship versus just a transaction has changed everything. We don't see individuals just one time typically. We'll see them come in and we get to know them over that period of time. And so learning that we have a lot more in common than we are different has absolutely changed my perspective on homeless ministry or even befriending the poor.
Do you have opportunity to sell, quote unquote, Compassionate Hands to a lot of people? They're people, when they hear about something like this, a lot of times they want to know a little bit more exactly what's going on, maybe before they become volunteers or donors or whatever. What about that? Is that part of your job as executive director to sell Compassionate Hands?
A little bit. I've been lucky and fortunate enough that I'm surrounded by an amazing team that is really well known in the community. If I had the opportunity here to sell Compassionate Hands, it would really just be that when we do life on life with individuals, that's where people are changed and transformed. And so when volunteers come in, they may come in for that first time to serve a meal, but when they start to serve routinely, we get to know each other's names, we get to know each other's stories, and in the midst of sharing stories, our lives become intertwined with one another. And so that is the best part of this ministry, is it mobilizes the church to actually do the work of the ministry, to get out into the community and to know their neighbor, and then to love people who are different from them.
Well, has been promoted to executive director changed even the way you think about Compassionate Hands necessarily, or have you has this been really a life change for you, just becoming executive director?
I don't think I ever imagined being the executive director of a homeless ministry. I've always wanted to work in nonprofit. I always wanted to do ministry work, and I just think that the Lord has really humbled me in that this is the work, the substance of the work of the ministry is being amongst the very people that Jesus spent his own time with. And so in that way, it has revolutionized my own relationship with Jesus and opened my eyes to an entire issue that honestly, coming out of the church, I probably was a lot more blind or ignorant towards.
Well, John, you really have come a long way. As you said, and you started out, maybe you had 8 churches. You have 50 that are working together with you now.
Yes.
Well, what's next for Compassionate Hands?
We are continuing to serve and want to serve better and better each year. And so, it's June, but we're looking already towards December, winter shelters. And we're looking towards where do we go next? I don't think that's really solidified yet, but we have a ministry center that's debt-free now, and we also see that the needs are bigger than what we can serve right now. So we'd love to add additional space, love to add additional ways of serving. Do you want to say more about where we might go next, or?
So, in these first 10 years of Compassionate Hands, we've been laying a groundwork of really being known being a trusted place. And I think in these next years, we want to change the story from perpetual crisis relief to long-term development. And so taking just our friends who have been in one space for a while and walking them through a staircase or a bridge to a different place. And so that would look like helping our friends get into a transitional living program or going to addiction treatment or redefining what purpose can look like for them. And so something that's new and that is next is that we have started a life skills classes and community groups that are happening at Compassionate Hands every afternoon. And so people can come in and not only receive showers and laundry services and the constant need that restores dignity daily, but things that will make for a better tomorrow. And so that could be art therapy, counseling, job readiness training, computer skills. And so these are things that are on the horizon for Compassionate Hands now.
Right. There are some who, well, that old saying, I probably used this more than once with you, John, but you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. Some people may not want some of these things and maybe have to kind of be led into it or even pushed, but then you can only push so much. Your job is, I guess, is pretty much to make it available and sell them on this if you can, but it's really in the final analysis, it's up to them as whether they do this or not, isn't it?
Yeah. We can invite our guests to take the next step. I think all of them would want something better, but many of them have just given up hope. Life is so hard. Many of our guests struggle with health troubles. Many of them have no family, no friends, no network. Many of them struggle with mental health. Many of them struggle with addiction. But others, it's just life is hard and housing is so expensive these days that they've just given up hope. So that often is the best thing we do is we just build a friendship with the person. They come in, it's the worst day of their life. They just got kicked out of their place by a roommate. And so we give them a meal, we help them get a shower, wash their clothes, and we build friendship and we lift their spirits. And so what I see is every one of our guests would love to get into a better place, but they often need a lot of help to get there. And that's, as Mariah's talking about, just the idea of renewal, that we are walking with them to take their next step.
And encouragement, I guess, is very important, isn't it?
Yes. Well, our center is called the Center for Hope and Renewal. So many of them have lost hope. And so we can offer a little bit of hope through kindness, through a meal, through a place to sleep. Many of them are ready for renewal because they trust us. They see that we really do want to help them and not asking anything of them other than take your next step.
Do you have some stories, not that we necessarily even share this morning, but there are some, no doubt, who you have helped to get onto another plateau, maybe self-sufficient who don't need to come to you to have a bath or a hot meal.
Sure. Yeah, there was a lady named Mary who stayed with us probably 4 or 5 years back, and she was rough. She was a young lady, probably 30, 32 years old, and she just had a lot of anger. Life had been really hard for her, had been in and out of jail and struggled with addiction. At one time, she had lost her temper and actually hit a Lebanon police officer, went to jail for that. So she was rough. She scared me when she got angry. But as she spent time with us, we helped her get into rehab. She went to a rehab program in Kentucky and broke free from addiction. And she's now serving at that place as a peer recovery specialist. So she went from being a really dangerous, scary person to a person now who is contributing to others. And so that's the kind of stories we love to see. And I would say every month we'll see 2 or 3 people that they go either into rehab or we help them get a bus ticket back to family in Missouri or Texas. And so often, we love to see those stories, and we see them happening often.
What about employment? Is that something you help them work on as well, getting a job?
Yes, it is. We have 2 care coordinators, and that is their job, is to help our friends get connected to the resources that are available, and so job readiness, and then also looking for those interviews and stuff.
Well, you have come a long way, and goes without saying. Anybody who investigates at all, I mean, when you go from 8 churches to 50 churches, that's quite a growth. You were able to get the place that you have now, a place of your own, and it's, I understand you said it's paid
debt
for.
Free.
So debt free. That's wonderful as well. So you've really come a long way and got a lot going for you, but there's still work to do.
Much to do.
Well, if somebody wants to get involved, maybe how they get started, your greatest needs.
Awesome. If anybody wanted to get involved, they could reach out to us at Compassionate Hands. We have volunteer interest forms on our websites at compassionatehandstn.org. And also, they can reach out to me personally. So, and I will connect them. We do volunteer orientation at least once a week for individuals who are interested in getting involved. And our greatest needs, we're coming into the hot months. And so we are always looking for sunscreen, extra lots of water, bottled water. And then I would say lounge pants or clean underwear.
Well, we got about 30 seconds, and John, you have the last word here this morning, but thank you both, John Grant and Mariah Anderson, for being with us today.
Thank you, Coleman. It's such a blessing to be here. And if anyone wants to get involved, we need your help. Mm-hmm. That's what makes our ministry work, is the community support. So.
And there are a lot of ways, monetarily and hours, donation, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coleman.
Well, John Grant, Mariah Anderson with Compassionate Hands, and that's part 2 of Coleman and Company. I want to wish happy weekend, happy Father's Day, and until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.